having these strange dreams. I think it's a memory of my mother from long ago. We need to hurry up! We have to stop her! I do feel a connection. There's something there.
I am Willhelm the Wise. You, it seems, are a time mage. As am I. And while my powers have led to my youthful appearance, yours are the gift to see possibility.
Who are you supposed to be?
Hello, my name is...
Tell me if we survive. You know how to fight? Hold your ground. They won't get past us.
So many questions. Matias the Frog, at your service. I have been keeping an eye on you for some time now. I suspected you had been chosen, my dear. It appears I was correct.
This will serve as a good opportunity for me to demonstrate my capabilities. I am certain I was created with a purpose. I wish to discover what it was. We'll have time for your banter later. Let's move forward.
Hold on. You have a talking frog? And you didn't mention it? A talking frog is like in my top 5 animals I want to meet!
Hi everyone, I'm Luke Croft, the community manager here at Modus Games, and you just had a chance to watch the brand new Cris Tales character trailer we debuted last week during Games Radar's Future Game Show. Alongside that trailer, we also announced the wonderfully talented cast who lent their voices to the characters in the game, and you can check out that cast list by typing !cast in the Twitch chat, and it'll give you a little link to the blog where you can go check that out. And now, I am excited because I am joined by several members of that talented cast today to talk about their experience working on the game, answer some fan questions as well, and so I am going to let them introduce themselves to you. So if you guys want to tell them who you are, who you play in the game, we'll just go around the circle.
All right, hello. I am Zeno Robinson. I play Cristopher in Cris Tales.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Lindsey Vega, and I play Willhelm in Cris Tales.
I'm Cody Rock, and I play Matias in Cris Tales.
And I'm Kira Buckland, and I am the voice of Crisbell and also the casting director for the game.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being here with me today. I know you guys are excited about the game, and I know you're excited to be here as well. And chat is excited for you guys to be here as well. I love the Cris Tales community. They're so wholesome and
they're so sweet.
Yeah,
I love them.
So I just want to jump right into it with some questions just about how you got involved with Cris Tales and what was kind of the pitch that you heard about the game, and what was it about that pitch or the character that made you want to get involved? You know, let's start with you.
Yeah, I've known Kira for a while now, and I feel like I knew she was in Cris Tales like before, but she sent me, she's when she started doing casting for the game, she sent everyone an audition for like a new batch of characters, and one of them in the batch I got was Cristopher. And I'm trying to remember if there's anybody. I think I auditioned for Cristopher and Enzo in that first batch, I only knew of the game through Kira, and then when I got tapped to play Cristopher, I did some studying and did some research upon it, and it looked amazing, and I was blown away by the art style, and I was intrigued by the story from what I could glean from Cristopher's lines, and it seems very inspired by JRPGs, which is a genre I love, and anime, which is another genre I love. So it was like kind of combining all of those things that I like about those things. So I had a lot of fun with it.
Cool. How about you, Lindsey?
Well, I was actually reached out to by the folks at Modus Games. So yay, thank you. And I was given the chance to try for Willhelm and a few other characters, and Willhelm was just I love him so much. From the minute like I tried out, and from the minute we recorded for the demo, I immediately just fell in love with this character and his art and just the whole world of the game. And I actually had the chance to go ahead and check out the game with my community on stream and everything, and it was just so I love this project so much.
Yeah.
All right, and then Cody, our only anthropomorphic animal represented on the game today.
Yeah. I was actually booked through an online casting platform, and that was just shown art of the character, all the lines that I would have to do, and I just kind of did it. Like, I wasn't directed. I just said, hey, give it your best shot, and I did, and here I am talking with you fine people.
Oh, that's awesome. How about you, Kira? I know this is not your first experience with Modus.
Yeah, I think it actually was at the time, though, because I remember I was recommended to audition for the role by a friend who said, hey, like, they're looking for some more people to audition for this title character in their new game, and I thought you might be a good shot. You know, can I pass them your info? And I was like, of course. You know, it's like we always love to be recommended for roles. And so I tried out and did a couple callbacks, I think, just like over email. And eventually we did a live session for the demo recordings. And after that, I was like, hey, I'm not sure what you're doing to find like the rest of your cast, but I'm based in LA. I know a ton of great actors. Like, I would love to help you with, you know, you mentioned there's going to be a lot of characters in the game, and I'd love to help you with like filling out your cast. And that's kind of like how I got on board for casting from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad that we were able to pull together such an awesome team. And as you could hear in that trailer, just how great you guys all sound. We were talking about it, you know, while we were setting up for the stream. Like, it's really cool to see the new stuff as it comes out and see how it's kind of coming together, because the COVID world has turned us upside down, right? And like, all this has been recorded remotely in you guys' homes, and so you guys were kind of learning about people that are in the game as we were learning about, as the fans were learning about who's in the game. So I want to kind of talk to you guys about that. Like, how has COVID changed the process of voice acting, and then specifically with Cris Tales, how did it impact your experience working with the game? I'll just open that up to whoever.
Well, I can go ahead and jump in here then and say that for this particular game, we always recorded remotely. I actually, thankfully, I was really lucky and got a vocal booth like a few years ahead of when COVID happened. So I felt like I was already prepared because, you know, I worked online with independent clients, lots of indie games, that kind of stuff. So for this one, we actually always did it from home. But for a lot of the other stuff that I do in studio, it was definitely an interesting process, because I know like Zeno and I, for example, do a lot of dubbing for anime and stuff like that. So dubbing, I feel like, was a more difficult thing to adapt to working from home, because we have to match picture. And when there's lag, it's, you know, it's just really interesting. But I am impressed that we were able to get the setup working as smoothly as it does. And I think, yeah, another thing in terms of like just like the cast for the game, one thing that I was really excited about with the home recordings was that from the beginning we were able to get people all over the country, and in some cases all over the world, because there's so much good talent outside of LA as well. And as someone who admins a large voice acting server, I'm just always kind of like, oh, I know there's like all this cool talent from like one of the actresses in one of the callbacks for a character is based in Malaysia, for example, and then we have someone in Germany, and we have someone based in the UK. And, you know, I just think it's so cool that remote recording allows us to kind of get people from all over the place. We've got a lot of Texas actors in the cast and so on.
It's amazing. and I guess since I'm talking, I'll continue the answer. Yeah, the process is interesting, kind of like what Kira said. Like, we do a lot of dubbing, and that's usually in studio work. But Cris Tales kind of was always going to be from home. Fun fact: this is the mic I recorded the demo on a couple of years ago, and the interface I recorded it on too. This is pretty much my Cris Tales demo setup I'm on right now. But like, it's funny. I was like, my first session with Cris Tales, I was driving home. It's crazy how much COVID has changed things. I was driving home from a studio session to go home and get in my closet and record this demo, the demo lines for Cris Tales, and then go see the My Hero Academia movie after. And now I have a whole new setup, and like a whole new, like, I've upgraded my mic and my interface and everything. And now I'm very accustomed to I don't record in my closet anymore. I'm very accustomed to recording from home now, and that's because COVID kind of demanded that actor setups can be able to be broadcast. So that has been a very interesting process on how my personal journey with Cris Tales recording went.
Awesome. Well, let's jump in, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about your characters, because it's always fun when you're talking with voice actors, because you guys really try to get inside of the head of your characters, and I know a lot of processes developing backstory and understanding of characters that we may never even see come fully fleshed out in the game. But just a real high level question: if you guys had to say what you had most in common with your character that you play in the game, what would it be? And we'll go around the circle again, starting with you, Zeno. Okay.
I think the most thing that I kind of have in common with Cristopher is that I think we both have this. We have good hearts, but we have this very intense demeanor about us. And I think that's what I connect with him a lot, is like, Cristopher, he carries this kind of, he shoulders this responsibility, and he carries this kind of weight with him due to circumstances in his life and his outlook on the world. And it kind of gives him this very, this demeanor of like being really intense. And sometimes even a little moody. And I feel like we're the same in that aspect, but at our core, we're really big softies, and we're really, care about the world deeply, so much that it makes us that intense, because why aren't things good? And I think that's how I relate to him the most, is sometimes the circumstances of the world makes us both moody, but our hearts are actually really warm and empathetic, and we care a lot more than we show.
Oh gosh, I would say for Willhelm, it's definitely his sass. Like, he's just such a fun character. Just very, very methodical and logical, and I really shared like that spiciness when it comes to, the people you do care about. You want to see them do well, so you're hard on them, but like not in a mean way. And he cares so much about everyone, and I love him. I love him. That would be probably it. Yeah.
Sass is a better word than what people were putting in the chat, which was grump. Willhelm is
It's not grumpy. He's a little bit grumpy, but.
How about you, Cody?
I think what I relate to most about Matias, just as a character, is his excitability and his energy. I'm keeping a lid on it now, but I'm actually like I'm a little twitchy right now. I'm a little bit nervous, I'll be honest. But just his overall demeanor is just like very, very encouraging and very, very positive. And like, I like to think that I am like that sometimes. Mm-hmm. Just to those I want to, not only to those I know, but those I don't know. I'm like, you go, legend. Like, I just like being nice to people. that's what he likes to do. But no, overall just his energy and excitability. I think his encouraging nature, and he can be very caring and very honest.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Kira, with Crisbell?
I feel like Crisbell always wants to see the good in people, which is something that I very much relate to. I know that sometimes, at least for me, it's like wanting to see the good in people to the point of sometimes like being naive and trusting too easily. And I feel like Crisbell has a couple of those moments too.
Yeah. How important is that to you guys when you're like thinking about roles and accepting roles in games or in anything that you work on, where you feel like you can connect with that character somewhere along like the personal line?
I think somebody was going to speak. Are we going to do the circle? Or?
Oh no, go ahead. That's just
Okay.
yeah,
I thought I heard somebody, and I was like, "Go, don't let me do it." But I think like the biggest, I think like key for like an actor is like is trying to find an easy, like, how can I connect? How do I connect with this character? You know, what can I attach to this character? How are we similar? Because that gives you a kind of a point of view to play them, and some are easier than others. So it's very important, I think, for like, I guess like artistic enrichment or that kind of catharsis to get a character that you the blessing is when you get a character that you can easily connect to, where you're like, oh my god, like this guy's just me, or like I totally relate to this. So it's like the balance of like finding what you connect with, but also sometimes you get a character that you connect with ease, and it makes it all the more fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, you stole my answer.
See, that's why I didn't let you talk first.
No, it's honestly, it's so true. Like being able to nitpick and find those things that do connect you to that character make it just so much easier. Even if it is a character that, you know, on the surface you don't really feel like you're similar to, you can always find like one human trait that you can pull from, even if it's like your real world experience and it's your sister or it's your brother or it's your mom, and they do this specific thing. It can be really helpful with connecting with those characters and helping you bring them to life.
Yeah, it's very drawing upon your own experience, and as an actor, that can be very fulfilling to utilize that experience and pour them into the character that you are able to just pour that into the character that you're playing. Yeah, it's very fulfilling.
I feel like I'm a little bit opposite in this sense that I play so many different characters that are just all over the map, and some of my characters are maybe a little bit like me and some a little more, and then some that are nothing like me. So I guess a lot of times I'm just trying to figure out like, okay, what does this character want? How do they view the world? You know, just sort of like their mindset and stuff like that. Because sometimes, you know, Crisbell's motivations, for example, might be totally different from how I would react to the situation or what I would want in that situation. So I just try to think like, you know, how would she react to this in this world that she's in?
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to drill down a little more into the psyche of your characters with some of the fan questions that we've got. So, so I'm excited to get to those. But before we do, so, you know, major element of Cris Tales, one of the unique things about the gameplay is this whole sense of being able to see the past, present, and future simultaneously, and to do things that impact both the past, present, and future with the decisions that you make. So we'll go around the circle again for this, but if you had the time powers similar to Crisbell, where you could visualize it, or like Matias, where you can hop between them and make changes, if you had that ability in real life, how would you leverage that in your day-to-day?
Oh, to have more time in the day, you know, that I would totally leverage that. Just to get more sleep. Oh, I have to wake up for a session. Psych, back to sleep for another 6 hours, and then I'll do it. You know, that's kind of how it's just giving myself more time for the things that I just haven't given myself enough time for in the day, or that time, the kind of time sometimes slips away from you during your day. So that's what I would do, is just like, oh man, I definitely want to turn this audition in earlier than this. Give yourself more time to work on it, you know, like that's what I would do.
I feel like for me, I probably wouldn't mess with it. Actually, like from a personal perspective, I just have this weird thing where I feel like, you know, if this is how it's supposed to be, this is how it's supposed to be. So for me, even though getting more time would be tempting, I feel like I would be too scared to like mess anything up and like the timeline. You know, it's so important. So yeah, I don't know if I'd mess with it.
Oh, the butterfly effect.
Mm-hmm.
All right, how about you, Cody?
That is an excellent question. I'd probably use it just for, just for my basic day to day. I forget to do something. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just go back and do that. Like I forget to go down the street for coffee. I'm like, yeah, hey, pass me. Could you like go do that before I forget? Because I'm gonna forget. I'm over here and I did forget. So can you like, please do that? Oh yeah. No, I would absolutely blow up the butterfly effect.
Yeah, same. You know how far back I would go?
Yeah, right.
High school, that was fun.
Yeah, right.
How about you, Kira?
So this is something I've actually thought about quite a lot because I'm always like, oh, I wish I could go back to the past. And, we've all like said and done these really embarrassing things, or, we have these things that I'm like, oh man, I would have totally done this differently if I could go back to the past. But at the same time, I think about it and I'm like, well, these experiences, even the not so pleasant ones, kind of shape who we are and shape, our future. And I'm like, well, if I took this different path here and did this and this, would I be Crisbell today? Or, it's like, there's so many things that it's like, oh, maybe we wish we could go back and do these things differently in our lives or our careers or our personal relationships with people. But at the same time, it's like who we are now and what we're doing now is kind of a result of all those things in the timeline.
Surprisingly deep answers all around here, because if I had the time abilities, I'd just go back to kick myself before saying something stupid, or that's how I leverage it.
Don't say
Valuable use for it.
Yeah. Well, let's hop into some fan questions. We've got some that are prepared that were submitted on Twitter and in our Discord, and I'll be looking at chat if anyone wants to ask a question there. We're in this tricky place, right? Because Cris Tales doesn't come out until July, so people haven't had the chance to play the game. So we have to be very careful with spoilers. So we'll just keep that in mind. We're going to try to answer some of these more like game-specific questions while avoiding giving anything away that you haven't been able to experience in the demo. So this first one may be the trickiest question, and it's from DirtyDan in Discord, who asks, what were your favorite, funniest lines to record for the game, or do you have any just funny stories from recording sessions with the game? And I'll just open that up to whoever wants to answer.
Well, in the demo, I know that at least this exists. So I was trying to record a line that Willhelm had to say impossible, and my voice cracked and it ended up coming out impossible. And they actually used it in the demo, so it's like he does this impossible thing, and it's just so silly. And I laughed about it for about a week after I played it, so.
I'm trying to say this without spoiling anything. I guess like what I will say is like Cristopher, like I said, he has this like kind of serious demeanor, but he also kind of has this personality about him that lends itself to kind of breaking that kind of that mask he puts on, that strong mask. So you'll see him go from being like, yeah, I don't care, whatever, to being like, oh, wait, what's going on, huh? And he's got like kind of a lot of those like really, really goofy like shonen to protagonist moments that I think everyone will enjoy.
I feel like that was kind of one of the descriptions used when casting for Cristopher. I was like, okay, so what are like the takeaways from this character? And I feel like they said he had anime protagonist energy.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads me to a question that isn't a fan question, but when it comes to developing the voices for these characters, how much workshopping is it? Like how many different versions of Cristopher's voice did you have before you settled on the one that you wanted to go with?
I think thankfully I got art, so I was like, oh, like looking at his art, I was like, and then they put him at the 16 to 18 range, so I was like, I kind of skewered a little bit closer to 16. I'm like, he's probably like 16, I know he's like, they said he's kind of like confident, and so I tried to give him, but he's got this serious expression, so I kind of had to give him that, like, it lent itself to that serious kind of thing that he that he does. But I wanted to make it light enough. I think shonen protagonist energy was the best descriptor they could have given me, because that's exactly what I went for. I was like, oh, shonen protagonist? Okay, it's probably somewhere around here. And yeah, so like that's kind of it fluctuated from being like a little once I heard everybody else, like once I heard Kira's Crisbell, I was like, okay, I kind of want to they're probably the same age, so I wanted to match her kind of vocal presence in age. So it kind of was a little deeper at first, and then when we got into records and I heard and I did some research and I heard Kira's, I was like, okay, let me make it a little younger. And yeah.
When we recorded for Willhelm, we tried two voices. One was a little bit like more lower and down here, and the other one was a little bit higher and more nasally in the whole nasal area. And they preferred that one, so that's what we ended up going with. And that was really, really fun trying to bounce between it, because all I was really given was he's supposed to be young, and he's a little bit, he's a little bit annoyed that he's in this situation, so you have to make like this very kid-sounding person grumpy and nasally and nerdy at the same time. So that was an experience, but I love him nonetheless.
I'm really interested to hear how Matias came to be.
I know, I'm waiting for
it. How Matias came to be, I believe I was told energetic and expressive, but also sound like Stewie Griffin from Family Guy. But I'm just like, nah, Stewie's got too much of an edge to him. I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna pull that back. So I had to. It did take me a little while just to kind of nail down the. Oh, yes, here we are. Do I go down here a little bit more? No, that's a little too much. But it just like it took a little bit of dialing in. But yeah, that's kind of the basic direction I was given. I was given a lot of freedom because like through this online casting platform, I was at least for the demo I wasn't directed. So I had a lot of freedom, and I think that seems like that's kind of what they want. So I'm just like. But at the same time, when I was going to submit the files, I'm like, "Oh, does this sound good? All right, is this what they wanted? Is this what they like?" There was a lot of questions about it, but I'm like, so it was just it took a lot more time just because it was largely self-directed. But and then when we got to recording for the full game, I re-recorded a lot of that just because, and like Zeno said, new stuff. Had a lot of improvements to the home studio, and the director was great, and so that was basically how that was the long and short of how Matias came to be.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see the Matias Stewie mashup fan art that's going to come. That's
God. Someone in Discord's drawing it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, now I kind of regret that.
I think for Crisbell, one of the things early on is we were sort of trying to figure out where to place her in terms of like, I work on a lot of anime and JRPGs, so a lot of the characters are very big, colorful, energetic, just show a lot of emotion and stuff like that. But I know one thing that was mentioned with Crisbell in my initial audition was that they also wanted an element of her that was like a little more grounded and real and down to earth, because Crisbell experiences a lot of things that are, really sad and really dark, around her. So I think it's, she also needs to have that element of just kind of like having experienced a lot of things in the world, which, you kind of see more and more as you go through the game. And so I think with her, it was kind of the challenge of like finding that right balance between having that young, cute energy, but also, being able to be more grounded and down to earth when the situation calls for it.
Awesome. Well, let's see. We got like 15 minutes left, and we got a lot of questions, and I want to, try to hit on as many as we can. But 1911 Cowboy on Twitter wants to know, do you get to play / check out the stuff that you're in often? And I think we can maybe expand that even to talk about like what kind of information are you given ahead of recording for a role, and how do you use that? And we'll just open that up to whoever wants to answer.
Well, for this game, preparing for the audition, I looked up the trailer and I watched some of Kira's work before auditioning and sending it in, just to get a feel for the style. And then I got to play the demo before we recorded the full game, so I got even more of an idea of what the world is like. Usually, before sessions, I'll get kind of a rundown of what the story is, and for this in particular, Derek kind of went through the whole thing. He was like, "This is what's going on. This is the kind of entire story," which is great because you need that full context so you can be able to play the arc of the character. Sometimes in other projects you'll get materials, they'll show you a trailer or a demo or alpha gameplay or things like that in other games I've worked on. But we had the demo at this time, and so I had a lot of the materials are already readily available to me.
I think when recording for the demo, it was more, at least for me, it was just, all right, yeah, here's what we want. Here's how we want you to do it. Have fun. But when Modus reached back out to me to say, hey, we want you for the full game, and I said, oh okay, yeah. So I'm just like, wait, what did he sound? Oh yeah, that guy. So so I went back and watched through the footage from the demo. There was a lot of YouTubers that had played through the demo already. I'm like, all right, that's what I sounded like. Okay, yeah. So it was a matter of refamiliarizing myself with what I had done previously, but and then I went back to the original description of what Matias was. I'm like, and being as removed from it as I was, I'm just like, I gotta make a different choice there. There were a couple of times where I'm just like, what was I thinking?
And being that far out from your original recording to when you came back to do the full game, how much of that is just kind of being able to naturally slip back into it, and how much of it is maybe having to form an impression of the thing that you did so long ago?
Once I'm able to dial in on a voice, I feel like I can lock it in pretty easily. I don't know. I guess I have that ear.
Mm-hmm.
So I just needed to hear myself doing it again, and I'm just like, all right, yeah. And then I actually recorded some sample lines to make sure they sounded the same. So I would listen to the footage. So I'd listen to the YouTube video with the Matias's dialogue, and then I'd listen to the recording that I just made. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, a little higher, a little bit, look back off, right? Okay, that's definitely Stewie Griffin. I need to relax. All right, yeah. So it was just dialing it back, and wasn't I took it upon myself to make sure it was as close, if not immediately spot on, to what I had previously given. All of a sudden, I'm happy with how it came out this time.
See, I feel like I actually had a little bit of trouble at first matching the voice because Crisbell sounds really young, a lot younger than I do in real life. And so it was kind of like, okay, we need to get the voice a little higher, get the vocal fry out, get the texture out. And I'm just like, I've been screaming for the past few years in all these game sessions. And I feel like my voice naturally has this texture now, right? So it was a little challenging sometimes to get back to that high place just because I feel like my voice has matured a little bit over the years.
Foreman 589 on Twitter asks this completely hypothetical question. What would your character say or do in order to get out of work for the day? And again, they reiterate, this is a hypothetical question from someone who is totally not working while watching this panel today.
Christopher would probably be like, I have more important things to do than sit around here and working. Like I have a world to save. I have responsibilities. Like I can't just sit here and do nothing. Yeah, that's probably what he'd do. He'd just
straight up say this is not a priority.
Yeah, he'd be like, this or the world. What do you want? I'm like, yeah, I have more important bigger things to do.
Willhelm would probably not even realize like he's late for work or anything because he'd be too busy reading something, or he'd be too busy focusing on trying to make sure he's helping Crisbell properly and things like that. Like I don't think he'd even remember that he has work, and then it would be like later in the day and he'd be like, oh crap, you know? Well, let's just pretend that didn't happen.
I think Matias would just be wherever Crisbell was at that point in time. But if he wasn't, he'd probably be like, I got frog hands. I can't hold a pencil, let alone do these reports. All right, guys, let's be real. All right, I gotta go.
Well, he just wanders off without a word from time to time anyway, so it wouldn't be totally out of character for him to just bail.
No.
With Crisbell, it's like you couldn't say no to her. She'd be like, I'm so sorry, Mother Superior. It's just that all these people in the village need my help. And, I mean, what do you say to that? This talking frog. No, really.
He peeked around corner.
We also got another important kind of drilling into the psyche of your character's question from NyssaMysteria on Twitter, probably butchering that, but says, if your character had a favorite ice cream flavor, what would your character's favorite ice cream flavor be? This one has stumped them a little harder than the getting out of work question.
I think Cristopher is a vanilla guy. You know, it'd just be interesting. He has this really like, he's got this like kind of this chip on his shoulder, and he's like, I'll take vanilla, please, thanks. You know, like vanilla? Are you sure? I feel like he's a vanilla guy.
I feel like Willhelm would be a little more picky, and he'd probably get something like pistachio or like mint chocolate chip.
He would.
Like something just like, okay, I guess so.
Oh, Chris would be like, ew, is that pistachio? You know, like...
Well, yeah, it is.
All right, you two, calm down. I think Matias, like, there are a couple of different answers for that. I think since he's based off of the golden poison frog in Colombia, I think he'd probably do as long as, how do I say this? As long as there were small insects for toppings, I don't think it would matter. But no, he definitely strikes me as a vanilla dude.
I think Crisbell would have something sweet like strawberry.
That's exactly
That's
what you
so fitting. Yeah.
exactly what you would have. 100%.
Well, I like this question here from Logical Tips because I think it veers in a direction you wouldn't expect it to. So, looking back at the games that you've lent your voice to, which of those games would you say you are the best at playing? Like, when you finally got your hands on it, what game that you have been in do you think you were the most skilled at being able to play? We'll just open this up to whoever.
Soul Calibur.
And that's Logical Tips, sorry. Oh, Soul Calibur, yeah.
Fight me.
Kira throwing down the gauntlet.
Hey, I got an arcade machine now. I'm ready to fight.
She's ready.
That was like our mic drop moment.
Yeah.
Good answer.
I haven't worked in many games, so the only answer is, I guess, Friday the 13th, the game.
You were Friday the 13th? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm Bugsy. Yeah. I got kind of good at that game. I don't say I was the best, but I got pretty good. I gave Jason a little bit of a run for his money. I remember playing with the devs, and we had a little bit of a tough time, you know.
I honestly would probably say Willhelm, just because I connected with him so well. I've done mostly like indie projects in general, I was in Ghost Runner, and that was pretty much my normal voice. And while I did really, really love Zoe, I feel like Willhelm is just this sweet little package, and I just want to protect him, you know?
Huh. Yeah, I'd have to think it would probably be Matias, just because he was a ton of fun. He had a lot of energy, a lot of encouragement. And I'm just like, oh, I want to. Can I be this person?
Yeah.
We all need a Matias in our life.
We all do.
Yeah.
Matias in our life.
I got you.
We'll wrap things up because we're getting near the end of time here with this question from TheAmazingJD, and this may be complicated to answer given that we don't want any spoilers. But they asked, were there instances during the recording of Cris Tales where you got emotional when delivering a line or recording a specific section? And again, don't necessarily have to get specific, but if you have any stories around something like that.
Oh gosh, it's so hard to not spoil.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I was like, oh boy, yes, there were, but no.
Yeah. I teared up a lot during one part, is all I'll say.
Yeah. There. It's like. But like, there is a moment in the game where Crisbell and Cris have a heart to heart, and I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone, but that there a particular of those conversations really did get me in the old Felios. Yeah.
I'll say there is a moment in the game where playing Matias was very it had a large impact on me. And when I was done recording, I was just like, did that just happen?
Oof, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like, what? But I don't want to spoil anything. It's a hard question. Oh man.
No, it's a hard question. I'm excited because, I think just talking with you guys has shown me how excited you guys were to be a part of it, and I think that definitely comes through in what we see in the demo and what we'll see later in the game as well. And we obviously have some character development to look forward to with all of your characters that we've been introduced to. But we'll wrap this up, guys. I want to thank you first of all for just giving some of your time to come here and share stories and insights into the game. I appreciate everyone who's tuned in as well. But before we go, let's go around the circle, our little virtual huddle here, and you guys can just tell people where they can find you if there's anything that you want to plug, that you want to check out. Zeno, let's start with you.
You can find me everywhere at Childish Game Zeno. That's it. I did a current, if you want to check out anything, if you guys like anime merch, I did a thing with Atsuko and, helping, I did a little photo shoot helping promote their anime jerseys and their Dragon Ball GT collection. So check it out.
All right.
So I'm on Twitter, but I also stream a lot, like full time. You can find me at Phelan on both Twitter and Twitch. Yeah. That's it.
All right, Cody.
All right. Yeah, you can just find me at Cody Rock VO on Twitter and Cody.rock.vo on Instagram.
All right. And Kira.
And I'm just Kira Buckland on Twitter. I've also got a link in my bio there for my autograph store if anyone is interested. I'm worked with a lot of cool artists to have like prints and stuff like that. So I know it's like challenging during these times when we can't go out and meet people in person, but I try to like have that option.
All right, awesome. Well, if you guys want to check out Cris Tales before it launches this July, there is a free demo available right now on Steam, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch. You can type in !demo. It'll take you to the Cris Tales website, so you can check out all the platforms you can get it on. You can also, pre-order the game there as well. I'm excited for July. I think the 4 people joining me today are excited for July as well. Again, thank you guys. And yeah, we'll have plenty more to come on Cris Tales in the months ahead. Make sure you join our Discord, !Discord in the chat. We'll get you a link to that as well. There's an awesome bunch of Cris Tales fans in there who are speculating about the game, who are already speculating about things that were said in this panel here. So lots of cool stuff here. And if you hopped in the middle of it and want to check out the anything that you may have missed, this will be up on our Twitch VODs and also over on our YouTube channel. Just search for Modus Games. Thank you guys again for being here. Thanks for watching. And until next time, goodbye.